it's the Rawsome Vegan Gal here, and I have another healthy living topic to speak to you about it, and it's kind of apropos to this time of year, depending on where you're living in the world. You may be experiencing cold weather. So I call this What to Do to Fight Cold and Flu Season Naturally. So I found this article in a magazine called Taste for Life, and I thought it was appropriate because a lot of people succumb, unfortunately, to colds and flus this time of year, and instead of opting for the quick fix of medications, which actually don't heal the problem or solve the symptom, you want to try to find natural sources to help you through it all. So these can also be preventative as well. So, well, I'll tell you one of my own that I found in a book. I forget the name of the book now, but if I do locate it, I will let you know. So, and this really works. It's pretty amazing. So if you ever feel a tickle in your throat, like, but it's really starting to get dry, like it's not the usual, you know, clearing your throat. It's really dry, like it's starting. So as soon as you feel it, immediately. One thing I'd say is always keep lemons and limes in your household. Now, if they the skin starts to get hard, and you think it's ready to throw away, don't worry about it. All you have to do is take the fruit and kind of roll it, kind of press it. I actually have right here, I could show you from my fridge. Here's a lemon that's nice and fresh, but if it's not, you just roll it on the countertop, like press it, and the skin will soften up. But even if it's too hard, don't worry about it. It's still useful. You could still use it, but I would keep your citrus in the fridge. But always have those on hand. The other thing is garlic, too. So for two things that you would do. So for that dry, sore throat, or the tickle that you first feel, lemon or lime will actually kill the bacteria. That's why it's used in cleaning products, because it's a natural antibacterial. So all you do is, if you have a large lemon like the one I showed you, this is, I'd say, it's not super large, maybe it's medium large, you use half of it. And if you have something small like this is a little lime, then you would use the whole thing. So what you do is you juice it, and then you drink it, and then afterwards you take about 1 inch of water and drink it, and the water will actually taste sweet. And then don't have anything. So what that does is it gives it a chance for the body to take in that and absorb it and kill the bacteria. The best thing to do is first thing in the morning when you first wake up, and if you feel it, or on an empty stomach, because it's more potent that way. So that's for that. And then you could do it as many times a day as you'd like. And then you don't eat or drink anything after that for a half hour. The other option as well that you could do is garlic, fresh garlic. But you're not going to chew it or anything so it's, comes out on your breath or on your pores. What you're going to do is chop it up as small as possible, mince it. What you want to do first with garlic is you take the clove, I don't have any here, but you take the cloves, take a few cloves, and you want to smash them with the knife, with the flat part of the knife. Smash them, and then what that does is that releases those oils, and that's the benefit from garlic. The allicin releases those antibacterial, antiviral substances underneath the skin, so it has that oily residue. So when you crack it, when you smash it down like that with the knife, on its flat, the knife flat like this, it's going to release those, and then chop it and let it sit a few minutes. And then what you're going to do is chop it as fine as you can, or if you have a chopper that you want to use. Then what you do is you put it on a spoon and put it to the back of your throat, because when you do that, it will not, you will not get the taste in your mouth. The taste buds are on the tongue in the front, but in the back you won't get it. So you put it on a spoon, have a little glass of water ready. Also put it on the back of the spoon and swallow it and drink a little bit of water, and that will do the same thing. And you can do that a couple times a day. I know I had a friend once do it who was starting to develop a sore throat, and by the morning it was practically non-existent. So that's what you want to do. You want to try to nip it in the bud. So that's my remedies from, I think it was this book called, I forget the name of it, but if I find it, I will pass it along. So what the article says here: to boost your immunity, exercise. It's not very intense exercise, but just your regular activity. I mean, even just nice walking, regular activity, movement, stretching, yoga, things like that. Because too much can actually weaken the immunity. But the moderate exercise improves the function of infection-fighting cells, so that's good to know. R&R, stress suppresses the immune system, so you want to get enough relaxation and sleep. That's important too. Sleep will make a difference. If you already have a suppressed immune system, that means a low immune system. If you're not getting your sleep, it's going to cause the body to be more prone to getting colds and flus and things like that, because your body isn't already strong enough to fight it. The next thing is vitamin D. Now they recommend vitamin D3 to boost immune cells. Now I have I'll give you a link for a really good source for vitamin E that is pure plant-based, made of whole foods. It's a vegan vitamin D3 that I found on Amazon, and I've taken it. I don't know whether I've seen any change in my vitamin D levels. You'd have to be tested, so that's something you might want to do. You might want to test your vitamin D first, or if you're going for blood tests, ask them to test that, and then you can see, and then down the road you would maybe test it again. So vitamin D3, a lot of people don't get enough. That's your sun vitamin. You know, especially in the wintertime, you're all covered up. You're wearing long sleeves, and your face is covered, or you wear a hat or something. So that's important. Low vitamin D levels in the blood were linked to greater susceptibility to flus, cold, and upper respiratory tract infections. So that's important that you get that. Vitamin C is another one. It helps produce anti-stress hormones and stimulates production of infection-fighting white blood cells. So if you want to opt for a supplement, I don't usually use vitamin C, because your citrus has tons of vitamin C in it. Your citrus fruits and veggies, things like broccoli and kale, any green leafy vegetables, very deep, rich green leafy vegetables, broccoli, kale, collard, your lettuces even, will all have high vitamin C content, plus all your citrus fruits, even your lemons, your limes that I showed, your oranges, your grapefruits. So what they're recommending here is a supplement of 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams every few hours if you already have the cold and flu. But again, I don't opt necessarily for the vitamin C supplement, rather take in the food. And they do talk about garlic, which I just mentioned. It protects the body from illness and helps it recover more quickly from a virus, because it is antiviral. It can also contain zinc. People deficient in this mineral tend to get sick more often. That's interesting. I never knew that. The next thing is zinc, actually, I mentioned. For sore throats, zinc lozenges are good. You want to try to find one that has no sugar. I don't really take any lozenges. So you want to look, when you buy any kind of products that's in a package or anything that's in a bottle or can or whatever, you always want to look at the ingredients. Try to get something that non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan if possible, vegetarian if it's a lozenge, if it's a tablet, see what they use on it, because they use some kind of coating, and it might also be some kind of preservative. So you have to really do your research if you want to find something that's better for you. So what they say here is the zinc lozenges should have 10 to 20 milligrams of zinc. For relieving sore throats, 4 to 5 times a day you would take them. And take it within 24 hours of your first symptoms, because it could shorten a cold by a day or more, as well as lessen your symptoms. Probiotics. Probiotics is a very important thing, which is our good or friendly bacteria that's in our body, especially in our colon. And that improves immunity greatly. And I'm a big fan of natural probiotics in your food. Now, sometimes what's very interesting, if you make something and it starts to smell funky, that actually is fermentation. I mean, if you see mold on it, I wouldn't probably eat it, but sometimes I've had that, and it isn't actually bad. It's just starting to ferment. I mean, you could make a fermented drink yourself. You could take coconut water and put it in a jar and leave it in a warm area, leave it covered in a mason jar, and then you would just leave it until it starts to smell kind of fermented. You could smell the difference when it's fresh and when it's not. And you want to buy a good quality coconut water. The coconut water I recommend is Harmless Harvest. It's an organic coconut water, and I'll have a link below, and it's available at just about all Whole Foods, and a lot of the supermarkets already are carrying it. And then you buy the larger size, the 16 ounce, and put it in a mason jar, which I could show you what a mason jar looks like if you're not aware of a mason jar. I think I have one here. Where did my mason jar go? I can show you. I actually have it in the fridge with something in it, so I can just show you what it looks like. This is This is the quart mason jar, and that's the jar I recommend for making your coconut fermented, kind of like a kefir, but you're not adding any probiotics. You're just making it naturally occurring. So you want to put it in a warm place. Most places that are warm is your garage, so you might want to consider that. And then you can make your own fermented drink, and then drink a little every day. Other sources for probiotics would be yogurt. I don't recommend dairy yogurt, so you'd want to look for a coconut yogurt, or maybe try to make it yourself, which is a little more complicated. Kefir, miso. Miso I'm not the biggest fan of because of soy. So there are other types of miso. There is actually chickpea miso, which has no soy in it. It's not fermented as long, so it's not as strong flavor. It's actually a more mild flavor, but you're still going to get the friendly bacteria. And the other thing is sauerkraut, and that I will show you, and maybe perhaps one day I will do a video. This is my own homemade sauerkraut. It's salt-free. I use purple cabbage. I love purple cabbage. I could probably eat this whole container. So this jar, as you can see, is a jar that has a clamp. So when I ferment it, it has a suction, so therefore it keeps it all sealed properly. So you see like that. And this is already a batch that I just made and started eating this past week. So what it is, it's a vacuum seal, so when I ferment it, I leave it on my counter, and it's usually about a 7-day process, but what I do is I've already made, this is my 4th batch, so on the bottom there's a little more liquid, and maybe, like I said, I'll do a video to explain how to actually make it. And what I do is I keep reusing the liquid from the previous batch. So what that is it's already kind of like a fermented product, so I don't have to kind of start from the beginning. So it doesn't take as long to ferment, although I still like to do it for 7 days. And again, that has to be kept in a warm place. Now, where I'm living right now, it's not as warm or weather as it was in the summertime, so I still keep it in my kitchen. But the thing is if I'm ever doing any cooking, if I keep it not super close to the stove, but my sink is close to it, then it gets some warmth from there, and that helps it ferment. So sauerkraut is great, and it's so easy to make. You can also buy it in the store. I have, I think, about 4 or 5 videos reviewing different companies that make sauerkrauts and fermented pickled vegetables and products that you could check out as well and see what you are interested in. There is one company that is also kosher certified called Ozuké, so if you're someone who needs your food kosher, and like if you have any pickle products, the different vegetables, to make sure everything is correctly checked and everything, then you would look for that particular brand or try to buy it online. But there are other companies too that I reviewed that are all vegan, non-GMO, everything organic. So so that's a great option too, and you want to have that every day. You have a little bit, a few tablespoons or so. Like I said, I love my sauerkraut. I could eat tons of it. It's just fantastic. Next thing is they talk about is echinacea. I don't necessarily use herbs per se. So if you're having an issue already, then yeah, don't use it long term. Use it for the specific ailment at the time. It says here it can decrease the duration and severity of colds and flu. They also recommend medicinal mushrooms. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms. There's some controversy with it for me, but perhaps just for the time when you have an immune system, dysfunction like this, then maybe you'd want to include them, such as reishi, maitake, and cordyceps. Reishi reduces stress and strengthens the immune system, and it regulates excessive immune response, such as allergies and autoimmune disease. Maitake mushroom extract stimulates white blood cells that target bacteria. So they're also talking about extracts that you could use. Also, cordyceps improves lung function and chronic bronchitis. I never knew that. That's very interesting. So any of you have that problem, you might want to look into that. Dark chocolate. Interesting. It's effective and tasty cough suppressant. Who knew? And it's as effective as codeine, according to Dr. Teitelbaum. So imagine that. Instead of codeine, you could have your dark chocolate. But again, when you look for your chocolate, you want to look for something that's pure. Don't be taking in something that's full of other ingredients that aren't natural. Or you may want to make your own chocolate. Just get some cacao powder and mix it with some other ingredients. Try to keep it really simple, and you can have it just like that. But who knew? Tea. It's hydrating and also rich in antioxidants. Chamomile tea, green tea, also associated with relaxation, and which may help for boosting immunity. When you're relaxed, your immune system is not as on the fence, like stressed out. So also blends that include echinacea, elderberry, slippery elm, or other immune boosting and symptom soothing ingredients can double duty on your cold. Also, breathe deep for a stuffy nose. Inhaling the vapor of eucalyptus oil, it can help shrink nasal swelling and reduce secretion of mucus. So you have like a bowl with hot water and add your eucalyptus, and then put a towel over your head, and then breathe in that vapor, and that's really good. The other thing you could do is you can rub carefully. If you want to rub some eucalyptus oil, if you have like a shirt, a t-shirt that you don't care when you go to sleep, what I would recommend too is rubbing some carefully a little bit on your skin. I'm not responsible if you have any kind of reaction. So if you don't want to put it directly on your skin, maybe take a light, thin cloth or something that you could put it on, like not a washcloth that's too thick, but a piece of material even that you could put on your skin with the eucalyptus oil, and then and you might want to do it like a mist. You might want to put the eucalyptus oil into a spray mist bottle and mist it onto the cloth, and then put it on your skin, and then put something over that. But I myself have put it actually even right on my skin, and I've actually even put it right underneath my my nostrils. But again, I'm not responsible. You might have a reaction to it, so do not do it if you think your skin might react to it and might cause a problem. So you can also take a cotton ball and put some on there, and then breathe it in, with the eucalyptus oil, or get a vaporizer that you can add essential oils to, so then it can go all, it can kind of circulate all the time, and then you're breathing that in. So that might be another option. So I hope all this information has helped you, and will help you if you need it. You should definitely look into some of these things I mentioned, and some you may want to start doing anyway because they are beneficial to the body, like the fermented probiotic foods and eating more citrus and stuff like that. That is already things that you could do on a regular basis to actually continually boost your immune system and prevent these things from happening, because that's the whole idea, is prevention is the best cure. So I thank you for watching. It's the Rossum Vegan Gal.